Yeah.
Why does this keep happening over and over and over? Why does this keep happening? How many cases did you have last year, Mr. Addison?
I have quite a few, sir.
Now it pled on the 17th of December, and not 3 weeks later, you have now another criminal trespass. How do we stop this from happening?
You need to leave Texas?
No, we don't want you to leave Texas, but we want this to stop happening. Why would I keep doing this?
Officers don't like me out there, man. They be harassing me. They beat me up. They assaulted me. They put me in the hospital. They tried to kill me.
So why go back?
What do you mean?
Why go back to the same location over and over if you know that they're going to beat you up?
I'm in the state of Texas, not just this area. The state of Texas, the laws don't like me. The police don't like me, sir.
That's baloney because you're a likable guy. We all like you, Mr. Addison. You seem like a stand-up guy, get nice, but you keep going back. Why would I keep doing this? You know, we hit you with the time served, we let you out. 2 weeks later, you pick up a new case. And it's been like that for the last damn year. Where's your family? Who do you have in your life?
I don't have nobody in my life, sir. All my family is dead. My twin just died not too long ago.
You got no kids?
But they grown here, but I can't find them.
Why not?
Because their mother hid them from me.
You ever tried to find them?
Yes,
How?
through the internet. Through the internet, sir.
I don't know, Lori. We're doing the same shots over and over and over. And last year, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 cases just last year. You pled at the end of December. January, you've got a new case. We let you out. You took off on us 2 more times. And the only reason we have you now is because you picked up an interference. And now we're doing the same thing over. I'm not going to do this. I'm done, Mr. Addison. I'm not going to continue to do this. Plead you to the time served in hopes that you're going to go out there and not do it. No, it's not going to happen. We need to figure something else out. Thank you. That's very sweet. But I'm not going to do this. We need to do what I'm going to do now, what's called a TRest, to see how we go forward. Because I don't know enough about you and what's going on in your life to figure out how we go forward so you stop picking up criminal cases. I told you that many moons ago that I'm going to stop doing this. And now is the time. I'm not doing it, Mr. Addison. We will set this case for a TRest. I'm going to try to expedite to get it done as fast as we can. I'm done. What I'd like to do, and the hope is that somehow you, me, and Lori can figure out what kind of family you have in the United States so that we can get you somewhere where you stop getting in trouble. But it's not working what we're doing. And I'm not going to continue to, this is not a revolving door. Do you understand, sir?
Yes, sir, yes, Your Honor.
That's what we're going to do. So Lori, I'm sorry, but let's set it for a TRAS and we'll come back next week. Do you mind expediting? Good morning, Mr. Is it Haran?
It's Aaron.
Heron? Ms. Heron, you're charged with interference with the duties of a public servant. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Judge. This one was a 2B. On September 28th, 2024, a law enforcement officer was dispatched to a family disturbance at a residence in Harris County, Texas. The caller reported she observed the couple arguing in a truck, children crying, and heard a loud bang as if someone got struck in the head. The law enforcement officer observed the truck with one functioning headlight, matching the description that was given him regarding the truck. The law enforcement officer observed a juvenile outside of the truck with red puffy eyes. The law enforcement officer made contact with Defendant 1, Ms. Heron, and Defendant 2. The defendant stated there was no altercation or arguments that occurred and that the law enforcement officer was talking to the wrong people and that they were okay. The law enforcement observed an odor of marijuana. The defendant's vehicle was sitting outside of a random residence at night, and the defendant stated the vehicle belonged to a friend.
Which defendant? Who?
I just said the defendant stated that Vehicle belonged to a friend. And then there's defendant 1, which is referring to Ms. Heron for the next sentence. Ms. Heron refused to ID herself and stated she was going inside of the house. The law enforcement officer told defendant 1, Ms. Heron, to stay put until the conclusion of the domestic violence investigation. Defendant 2 exited the vehicle, stated, "No, I am not," when advised, and he was detained and pulled up his pants before getting in a bladed stance. The law enforcement officer grabbed the defendant 2's right wrist. Defendant 2 pulled away. The law enforcement officer grabbed defendant 2's shirt, telling him to stop as they fell to the ground. The defendant 1, Ms. Heron, pulled the law enforcement officer's arm and pushed the law enforcement officer's chest, preventing the law enforcement officer from restraining defendant 2. The law enforcement officer took out an electrical conductive weapon, told defendant 1 to get out of the way, Ms. Heron, and defendant 1 continued to refuse and push law enforcement officer's chest. Ms. Heron ID'd herself with a name and date of birth, which was confirmed with the Texas driver's license.
Ms. Heron, don't. Now's not the time. You know, I've got a bunch of DAs here. Whatever you say, they're going to use it against you. You will have the opportunity to fight your case. Just now's not the time. I'm going to find that there's sufficient probable cause to go forward with the case. Do you have the ability to hire a lawyer, ma'am?
I don't.
Okay, we can have you fill out an application. I'll take a look to see whether you qualify. I need to know everything about you, how much money you make, what kind of job you have, and then we'll take a look to see whether you qualify. I see that the co-defendant in this case has a valid warrant for his arrest. I think that there's still a warrant open for his arrest. Also on a felony warrant as well. I'm ordering you as a condition of your bond not to have any contact with the co-defendant in this case. Do you understand? If you do, I'm going to put you in jail. No more PR bonds for you. Do you understand? Okay. So Deputy Miranda is going to give you an application. I'm going to have you go to Victoria, sign and reset, and then we'll have you take a seat in the jury box while you fill it out. Okay? Please. Can we file? Good morning, Ms. Hines.
Good morning.
Ma'am, you're charged with driving while intoxicated. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, ma'am. Okay.
Thank you, Your Honor. On April 23rd, 2025, in Harris County, Texas, law enforcement officers were dispatched to a suicide. Upon arrival, law enforcement officers found the defendant in the driver's seat of a U-Haul truck, slumped over the steering wheel. The law enforcement officer observed bloodshot eyes, slurred speech, and unbalance from the defendant. The passenger, the co-defendant, was detained and a crack pipe fell out of the co-defendant's pocket. The law enforcement officers found foil with narcotics residue on the passenger seat of the vehicle. The defendant admitted to taking Xanax that morning, and standard field sobriety tests were conducted. A 6 out of 6 was recorded on the HGN, a 2 out of 8 on the walk and turn, a 0 out of 4 on the one-leg stand. The defendant consented to a blood test. A wheel witness stated they saw the U-Haul in motion, pull into the driveway of a house across the street, and then walked over to the U-Haul and saw the defendant in the driver's seat.
You said that you said they did field sobriety tests? They take them to the station? What?
Yes, Your Honor. Standard field sobriety tests were conducted. 6 out of 6 on the HGN, 2 out of 8 on the walk and turn, and a 0 out of 4 on the one-legged stand.
Blood test, breath test?
It was a consensual blood test.
Any pregnant of the eyes?
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Hines, I'm going to find that there's sufficient probable cause to go forward with the case. I don't know if you have a problem with drugs or alcohol. Now is the time for you to address it, because I'm telling you, if it becomes a problem while you're on bond, I'm going to address it for you. And I promise you're not going to like the way that I do it. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
I'm ordering you not to use alcohol, illegal drugs, unprescribed controlled medication. I'm going to test you, and I'm going to test you probably within a week. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Do not use. If you have a problem, now is the time for you to do whatever you need to do to address it. You have the ability to hire a lawyer, ma'am.
No, I don't think so.
Okay, I need you to fill out an application for me, and I'll take a look to see whether you qualify. I will have you go, oh, you said she has a valid license?
It is eligible.
Okay, you're also not allowed to drive unless you have valid liability insurance in your name, and that is also a condition of your bond. Do you understand, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
So I'm gonna have you go to Victoria, sign a reset. Deputy Miranda is gonna give you an application. I need you to fill it out for me. When you're done, you can bring it back this and we'll take a look. Please.